Hello everyone, this is Debbie Henderson from Debbie's Designs. Welcome to my weekly Sunday share. Hello everyone, glad to see you coming on. Today I am going to be featuring a technique, but before I do that, I just wanted to go over a few things. My hostess code for the month of March. Make sure you use the code when checking out of my online store to earn some free products from me. My door prize for the month of March is the Real Red Roost ribbon and the flower faceted gems. Anyone that places an order with me during the month of March, including paper pumpkin, your name will be entered into a drawing. I wanted to announce some special products that are going to debut on April 1st, and I'm going to try to do a video sometime this week to show them all. We have an ornate garden suite of products coming. You can see photos here. I'm going to show you what the designer paper looks like. But this is a suite which actually includes 2 stamp sets, 2 sets of dies. We've got some gilded gems, some ribbon, and a new embossing folder. Now let me give you a sneak peek of what the designer paper looks like. And this will be available to customers on April 1st. So this is the designer paper, and I'll show you the whole sheets when I do my live video this week. But you can see here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sheets that have some gold embossing on them. But look how pretty these papers are. And the colors are early espresso, mint macaron, old olive, terracotta tile, whisper white, but I have a color missing right here. It's called Bumblebee. So this is going to be a new color available, I am guessing, with the new ink colors that will be featured on June 1st. So isn't this paper pretty? So I'll be announcing sometime this week when I do a Facebook Live to show you all of the products because I do have them. Now today's card, I'm using the Easter Promise stamp set. Whoops, my little insert moved on me. Let me fix that. The Easter Promise stamp set, and I'm also using a greeting from the Itty Bitty Greeting stamp set that comes with 2 clear mount cases. Now this is one of the best stamp sets to purchase when someone new is just starting out because you have a little bit of everything, every holiday, extra things like enjoy your retirement, fabulous at any age. This is a great set when you need a sentiment that you don't have in another set, which is what I'm doing with this one today. Let me give you all the products I'm using. The classic label punch, a sponge dauber, and this is going to go with Pear Pizzazz ink, Tuxedo Memento black ink, Pearl Jewels. I'm using stamping blends today also, Daffodil Delight light and dark, Old Olive Light, and I'm going to show you a little tip to use with the color lifter when I'm coloring tonight. Whisper White, Baker's Twine, and then lastly is all the cardstock. So let me flip my card over. I don't want to show it to you just yet. So we've got Pear Pizzazz 11 by 4 1/4 scored at 5 1/2. So let me go ahead and fold that on the score line. We've got Daffodil Delight 5 1/4 by 4, Very Vanilla 5 by 3 3/4, a scrap piece of Pear Pizzazz, and I'm going to do the inside of the card tonight only because I'm going to do some additional coloring, and this measures 5 1/4 by 4. And I also, to do the technique, an easy way to do the technique, which I'm going to show you, I have just a strip, a 1-inch wide strip that I'm going to be using to help me score. So let me show you my card. Here's the card. Now I'm going to bring it closer up so you guys can see the background, which is what I am going to be focusing on tonight. This is the Faux Tufted. It looks poofy, and then I added ink to accentuate the score lines. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do. Let me bring in the smaller piece of Very Vanilla. I'm also going to bring in my scoring tool. Now, if you'll notice, I went diagonal with my score lines. This is where this little piece is going to come in. Now, another thing that I did with my scoring tool, and you've seen me talk about this in my previous videos, I use a black permanent marker to create this black line on the 6-inch mark. I use this a lot to help guide for some of my measuring. Tonight it's going to be coming in handy because I'm going to end up putting both corners on the line. So that's going to be my first score line. I am using the bigger ball on my scoring tool because I want the line to be deep. So there's my first one. This is where this is going to come in handy. I'm going to put that right on the score line. I'm going to slide this over. And I'm going to find that black permanent line, the black permanent marker. So you can see how this is guiding me. So there's score line number 2. Move over to do number 3. And now I'm going to flip this over to do the other side. So this is the worst part about preparing for this technique. Okay, one more, and then we're going to have to flip and do the other corner in the other direction. So I hope you guys can see the black line here. I'm lining up right next to it so I can score. So there's my first set of score lines. They're all even. Very easy way to do the scoring. Now I'm going to go in the opposite direction. So again, corner to corner. Put this down on the score line. Move this over. Find my black line. One more on this side. Now this is something that I came up with just to make it easier for measuring. Maybe you guys know a different way to do this. But this is my idea. I hope you like it. I can see some hearts going by. So we got 2 more lines. Last one. Okay, and then what I did is I made sure all of my lines are nice and deep because that's where the sponging is going to come in. So I'm just redoing them one more time. Very easy to find. Okay, we got about 6 more to do and we're done with the scoring. What happens when we sponge, we don't want the ink to go inside of these lines. So that's why I need to make sure that they're nice and deep. Thanks for all the hearts, you guys. I can see all the hearts going by. Okay, so there's our scoring. See how easy that was and how nice and even everything is? Let me bring the card back in. Now I'm going to bring in the Pear Pizzazz ink. And I am not even going to hardly touch the ink pad with my dauber. I just want a tiny bit because I don't want it to be dark. Let me see if I can get some good lighting. I'm just going to go over the bumps. And I'm also going to go more towards one side of the scoring. Okay, so see how light that is? Very light. I find a lot of times my customers, when we're doing sponging, they press too hard with their sponge dauber. So I'm doing very lightly. I'm pretty much going over the bump and then going down below it. It just creates a little bit of shading and I just like the look. So you can see here where I have more ink on the upward motion here. So now I'm going to turn this over and do the other side. Again, I'm going over the bump, very light, and then moving over to the right of the bump. So this is such a cool and easy background to do. And see, I'm done already. So let me hold that up for you. See how neat that is? Now, one thing I forget to do, I was supposed to stamp my flower before I even started this. but I think I can still do it. I was so worried about doing the technique that I forgot all about my flower. Now this is a large stamp. I'm gonna ink it upside down. I just hope my image is gonna go through okay. Now it's gonna go right in the center. And there's the image. Very pretty. Now I'm gonna bring in the 2 Daffodil Delight markers, the Stampin' blends. I'm just gonna add a little bit of dark at the bottom of each flower. And then this one around the center. And then I'm also gonna do the little pieces right up here. Those would be darker. And that's about it for the dark. Now I'm gonna bring in the lighter one. And we're gonna do some blending where they meet. And you can see here, even though I have some Pear Pizzazz ink showing, once I color, the ink pretty much melts away. Okay, so there's, now what I want to show you with the color lifter. A lot of people ask me how to use the color lifter. So the main purpose of the color lifter is if you happen to go over the edge like I did just a little bit, a tiny bit there, I'm gonna actually just rub that and it's going to make that disappear. Another purpose that I use this a lot for, I want to soften up the edges of my Daffodil Delight. So I'm just gonna go over and color, and you'll see that those distinct lines disappear. So it just kind of melts into the very vanilla. So see how that melts in there? So now you don't have a straight line going across. So I use the color lifter a lot in that manner. Now let's go ahead and finish up the little stems. Okay, and that's all I'm gonna color for that. So now I'm gonna bring in the scrap piece of Pear Pizzazz. And the sentiment from Itty Bitty Greetings is this little Easter blessings. Just need to find my black ink. And we're going to use the Pear Pizzazz. Okay, I don't like the S on that one, so let me redo. When you have little tiny stamp images like this, you don't need to press hard. If you do, look what happens to the S there. I kind of smudged it. So now I'm going to cut that out with the classic label punch. And I'm going to wrap the twine. We're going to wrap that around 3 times. So 1, 2, and 3. Where's my end? There's my end. I'm just going to tie this into a bow. Now when I'm doing ribbon or twine, I never cut off the spool. That way I don't waste my ribbon or twine. I do my bow first and then I cut it off. That way you don't have to guess as to how long you need and you don't waste. So there's my twine. So I'm going to move that, scrunch it up together, and we're going to glue the little sentiment in place with the mini dimensionals. Oh, Patricia's saying she loves the colors. Pretty Easter colors. I'm going to put that right below the twine. And now we can go ahead and build the card, and we'll do the inside after I have all of my other layers glued to the front. So this is the Daffodil Delight. And I'm gluing to the Pear Pizzazz card base. Now for the stamped layer, I opted to use dimensionals only because I wanted the extra height. So this would make for a quick Easter card and with a cute background that's pretty much handmade. You didn't need an embossing folder, you just used your scoring tool. So there's the front. My next and final step for the front, I'm going to show you the pearls that I used. I used pearl juice and I colored them. I used the Old Olive Light marker. And what I did is I just went round and round over them. You can see out, these are so easy to color. Stamping blends are good for non-porous areas, elements, and the color will not rub off. So look how pretty those are compared to the white. Just to add a little bit of color. Now I'm going to add those. Whoops, where did it go? I just lost, oh, it's right there. I thought it stuck to my fingernails because a lot of these like to stick to fingernails for some reason. Okay, I'm going to add a cluster of 3. I just lost another one. Hold on, there it is. I'm going to add a cluster of 3 down here. And then a cluster of 2. Oh, you know what? I need one more little one. I just can't get that one. Oh my goodness, this doesn't want to work tonight. And we've got one more cluster of 2 right here. So let me color one more little one. And we'll have the front of the card all set. And then I'll work on the inside. Okay, so there's my card. Let me just bring my twine down. So there's the front of the card. Now let's work on the inside. I didn't show that to you yet. So on the inside, I added the border image. And again, it's a larger image. So I'm going to ink it upside down. And I'm going to put that right on the bottom. And the sentiment, which says, "May the promise of his wonderful gift fill your heart with peace and joy." And that's going to go right at the top. Now I just got a little bit of coloring to do. And all I pretty much did on this is just swiped the old olive. I'm not being fussy. And then I just used the light Daffodil Delight just to add a little bit of color to each flower. I'm not even coloring the whole thing. I'm just adding little hints of color here and there. I feel like Bob Ross sometimes. Okay, now where's my snail? I gotta find my snail right here. Let me glue that in place. I just ran out of snail. And that's going to go on the inside. And I'll pick a name for one of these cards tomorrow morning. So you might be a lucky recipient of one of these cards. So there's my card for tonight using the Faux Tufted technique. And the stamp set that I used was the Easter Promise. So I hope you guys liked my card. Thanks so much for tuning in. And I will announce sometime this week when I'll be featuring the new bundle coming out on April 1st. So have a good night, everyone, and see you sometime this week.